Morning, guys. Gonna try something new this morning. Gonna do some devotional thoughts. If you're here, welcome. It's early in the morning and getting ready to read the Bible. So this is your daily dose of Bible this morning. Starting off in the books of Amos and John. Those are the two books we're going to look at. So I don't know much about Amos. I figured I'm going to give it a try. So open up with me if you want to read first Amos chapter 1, and then second, read the first part of the book of John. You can just read through the first 13 verses, and that's where we're going to go this morning. So, all right, so Amos. The words of Amos, who was among the sheep breeders of Tekoa, which he saw concerning Israel in the days of Uzziah, king of Judah, and in the days of Jeroboam, the son of Joash, king of Israel, 2 years before the earthquake. That's kind of interesting. He notes that there was like an earthquake, and he's writing this or delivering this 2 years before the earthquake. Whatever. It must have been a big earthquake, like everybody knew about it or something. I really don't know much about Amos. I've read the whole Bible before, but I haven't studied Amos in depth. Amos apparently says he's among the sheep breeders, so he was shepherd. Like that was his occupation, I guess. How in the world did he end up doing this prophet thing, and who did he talk to? Was he able to talk to anybody, or did he just write this stuff down and it became like a thing? I got a study Bible, so I'm going to go to the beginning of the book, and it gives you a little bit extra information. It says Amos came from Tekoa, a village in Judah, located about 10 miles south of Jerusalem and 6 miles south of Bethlehem. Okay. It says that the first verse of Amos places the book during the reigns of Jeroboam II, who's king of the northern kingdom of Israel. That's after they split. Jeroboam II reigned from 793 to 753 BC. Uzziah lived until 740 BC, but his son Jotham took his son Jotham into co-regency with him in 750. The fact that no other kings are mentioned suggests that Amos was not active as a prophet beyond 740 BC. So it sounds like sometime between 793, and 740 BC is the period of time we're looking at here. Okay, so he writes some things. This is what he says. He says, verse 2, the Lord roars from Zion and utters his voice from Jerusalem. The pastures of the shepherds mourn, and the top of Carmel withers. Thus says the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Damascus and for 4, I will not turn away its punishment. I don't understand why he says for 3 transgressions and for 4. It's potentially something we'll learn later, but I don't know. I like to write in my Bible, so I would probably highlight this and write why 3 and 4. And then if I get an answer, I'll answer that question. I will not turn away its punishment. So there's judgment coming, judgment on the nations around Israel, because they have threshed Gilead with implements of iron. But I will send a fire into the house of Hazael, which shall devour the palaces of Ben-Hadad. I will also break the gate bar of Damascus and cut off the inhabitant from the valley of Avon, and the one who holds the scepter from Beth Eden. Beth is a word in the Bible, bat, I guess, but daughter of, bat mitzvah is when you see bar mitzvah is son, bat mitzvah is daughter, Beth Bethel, the house of God. So Beth is like the house of Eden. That's what this would mean, I guess. The people of Syria shall go captive to Kir, says the Lord. Damascus, if I'm like thinking of a map of Israel, Damascus is like the northeast part. So wherever Israel is. And if you're looking at me, I guess it would be up here. It's the northeast part over Israel. Thus says the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Gaza and for 4. Oh, okay. Here we have it again. Gaza. Hot stuff, Gaza. 3 transgressions and 4. I wonder how many times it says that. Oh, it says it in verse 9. For Tyre, 3 transgressions of Edom in verse 11, and for 4. It says it in verse 13, for 3 transgressions and for 4. And then we get into chapter 2, and it says it again. You know, this idea is interesting, 3 and 4. There's some numbers in the Bible that are really important, and I think of Revelation, that's what immediately comes to mind. But 3 and 4 appear a lot of times. 7 and 12. 3 plus 4 is 7. 3 times 4 is 12. If you go to the book of Revelation, and before you're just like, oh man, he's just doing all this weird math stuff, Da Vinci Code. Like, look at this. There is some stuff in the Bible that's like that. And 3 and 4 and 7 and 12 are those. Also the number 40. But if you go to like Revelation chapter 6, it's got the 4 horsemen. Well, there's 7 seals. The 4 horsemen are the first 4 of the 7 seals. There's a split, and then there's the last 3 of the seals that take place. And then you have, in chapters 8 and 9, you have the 7 trumpets. The first 4 trumpets, they get blown, and then it says, now, woe, 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 in verse 13, to the inhabitants of the earth because of the remaining blasts of the trumpet of the 3 angels who are about to sound. And so there's like this, there's 3 angels that are about to sound, which that's an interesting idea. I'm going to have to look into that to see if that's similar to Revelation 14. Anyway, the 3 angels that are about to sound, this trumpet is blown. And so we have this 3 and 4 again, those last 3 that are blown. If you do look at Revelation 14 and the 7 angels, there's actually 7 angels, except we say 3 angels. Verse 6 is the first angel, 8 is the second angel, 9 is the third angel. But then the last 4 angels all appear in Revelation 14, verses 14 through 20, and they're different. They're like shorter, they don't have messages, and this, that, and the other. So there's these like 3s and 4s that are in there, but they're all encompassed in 7s, right? These series of 7 plagues, 7 trumpets, 7 seals, 7 churches, 7 angels. And then you get to the end of the book, and you have something interesting. You have these 12s that start coming to play, which is the New Jerusalem. How high is the city? How wide is the city? 12,000 by 12,000, which equals 144,000. And these measurements start to come out like, there's this measurement of 144,000 and stuff. So I go back to Amos chapter 1. I don't know like what is the significance of these 3 and 4, but it does seem to be like something that God does with judgments and whatnot. He's like always doing these situations where he's doing judgments of the earth with 3 and 4. And so probably this separation between the 3 and the 4 have something to do with the judgment of God being poured out upon these nations that are surrounding Israel. And as he's saying here, Damascus, Gaza, Tyre, Edom, Ammon, Moab. And then he gets into Judah and Israel. He gets into these different nations that he's judging. Oh, wait. How many of them are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then Judah and Israel is 7. What? Okay. Well, that's all I got today. I think if I were to look at this and ask myself, is there anything practical that I could take away from this? The most practical thing I would say that I would immediately take away from this, at least from chapter 1, is that God's judging the nations that are surrounding Israel. And maybe tomorrow we find out all the reasons for the judgment, but we've got to be careful what we do, because one day we will, I guess, all face some sort of judgment. Have a great day.